So, this is gonna be a review of Mera. So I'm gonna record this with footage like just in the background when they chilling at Elos. But if I decide to, I'll throw some clips of PvP in here while I'm talking, just over this footage, to explain some of the things I'm trying to talk about more thoroughly. This is going to be a comprehensive guide to Mera no Mi Fruit, in Grand Peace Online. So, we're gonna go over in this video all of the moves on the fruit, how to use them, how to effectively use them, some things you may not know just from using the fruit, and a guide to anyone that wants to use this fruit, is using it, or anything in between. So I've had this fruit for like 4 days, 3 days, I can't remember. My sense of time is garbage. But spawning, it's a little bit more complicated than some of the other fruits. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So we're gonna go down. Well, we're gonna save the ultimate for last, but we're gonna go down from there. So the blah 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 blah. So the first move is Flame Pillar. The description is the user erupts into flames, creating a spiraling column of fire within a small vicinity. So you can use it, and it takes like 40 stamina. So not enough to like look at the exact number and have to use it in certain situations, but enough to where if you don't have much stamina left, it will drain you a little bit. Now, once you click this move, you can hold it, I'm pretty sure, for infinitely, and you can move very limitedly, but you can move while you're charging it. So you can go in a circle, do this, you know, you're not stationary while you're holding it. So this charge up can last forever. It doesn't slowly drain stamina, you can just do it. And when you use it, it's about, I'd say the AoE is about to here, with when it'll hit them, where it'll hit them at. So you see that circle of ground, it'll be around here outside actually, not the actual circle. That's about the hitbox of the move. It's a guard break. It hits like, I would like to say 8 times or 4 times. And it does decent damage. You mainly want to use it with my build. There's 2 types of build you can make with Mera, right? Just overall. You can have a build where you dump into stamina, you're a glass cannon, and you just do this. And go up, fly, spam moves, you know. I'll get into that more later, but it's something to bring up now so I don't confuse you. Flame Pillar in a type of build like that, you usually want to flame flight towards them. I can't really throw in a clip for this because my build isn't for this. But you can flame fly, go towards them, you're faster than them, and they can avoid this. It's a guard break, does 200, 100 damage. Free, right? They can't do anything about it. It's cancer. It's toxic. In a build like mine, where even though I have 45 points in M1, my build is a lot more M1 focused and less ability spam. I don't know, crazy. Mera isn't really a good fruit to build into sword mastery. You run into a lot of issues trying to do that. So, what I've learned, my M1s do 19, 20, I'm pretty sure 19 on players. Every time I test on an NPC it is 20. With Buso on. With Bacento? Yeah. So, with Flame Pillar, with my build, I'll get into the builds more later, but now I'll just briefly mention them, you'll get a good gist of them. With Flame Pillar on a build like this, you want to get in close, you'll probably like M1 them a little bit, or do this and then chase, and then M1, is usually what you want to do. I'll throw an example, probably. But you're going to want to run up on them. It's basically your approach tool, right? It's your best approach tool, in my opinion. You run up on them, say they're over there. You know, they're trying to run, get their cooldowns. You run up on them, can't really avoid it, guard break, free damage. They fall down, you catch them, combo, right? So, that's about all for that move. You could technically use it after a combo, but I'll get into that later. You could use it in a combo if you don't have your other 2 cooldowns. But yeah. So next is Hiken, and the description for this move is a fire projection of the user's fist ignites affected terrain. If you're familiar with the show, or like maybe AVA, if you're into that, this is essentially Fire Fist, right? Projectile goes in front of you. I could probably hit that rock from here. It's got decent range, but it falls off. But it doesn't like actually fall off. It just stops eventually, right? So this has a 5-second cooldown. Flame Pillar is like a 13. So with Hiken, right? It's also a decent approach tool, but it's very blockable. There's a charge up. It doesn't go that fast. And the thing I have to say to people complaining about it being such a good projectile, hold off skill issue clown, but Hiken is just decent for that. If they're blocking and they're like, okay, and you know, this charge up is very similar to the rest of your moves. Like there's fire, they just see fire and they're like, okay, so I'm safe to block now, they're far away, they're not gonna hit whatever they're trying to do. So they're holding enough and they're like, okay. But Hiken, if you wanna talk about that. So with Hiken, the range on it, right, if they try to do that, that hits them, but that is a giant AoE. Like, bigger than it looks. And even if you go off of what it looks like, the AoE is massive for projectile. And on a build like this, I have about 500 in the Devil Fruit. I stole this off the video. I have about 500 in the Devil Fruit, and that is off 95 damage. And you can't really, like, it's kind of good. Our next move is Flame Flight, and it says fly by borrowing properties of fire. And, you know what? That's about all you could say. You fly. I'd say it's about as fast as a Caravel, maybe faster. It's decent for mobility, we'll get into that later. But it's decent for mobility. Usually Cancer Mera users will dump into stamina and fly the entire match and spam Hiken at you. Strength of the Fruit, do that, you know, but I use it for open world mainly, and also when I'm trying to chase someone down in a fight, I guess. If they're running, holding F, you know, whatever, Flame Flight. I don't have enough stamina to really, like, I'm already 200 stamina now, and I can't really afford to do that in a fight. But sometimes it's just what you gotta do to catch someone. The next move is Firefly. Now, I'm gonna have to put an example, because it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll put it into words. So, Firefly sucks, quite frankly. Try to use it with shift lock, it's garbage, right? Even without shift lock, it's not that great. When you first look at it, it's not that great. It goes wherever your mouse aims. They go straight that direction. You cannot change course whatsoever. And they're super slow, but it does like 200 damage if you hit all of them. And that's where it comes in, right? So, if you can aim it directly onto them perfectly, it will track them. If they're faster than them, which they most likely Pika Flight or something, can outrun it. But with Firefly, they track onto the opponent. If you aim it very, very specifically, and that's only a portion of the time, right? Very hard to use it like that for just chasing down people and getting damage in. Also very blockable. Flame Pill is my only guard break. That's what I have to say. It does do a lot of damage to guard, but does not completely break it, right? So, that seems kinda bad. Until you realize, after an M1 string, they're knocked about to over there, and they can't move. And if you look at this, how fast I can use Firefly after finishing the M1 string, and how accurately I can aim it, even if they somehow, I'm slow or something, and they somehow get up before I can Firefly, if I can, like, aim it after I M1, it'll track on them still. And that's just for 200 damage. They can block it, but then, you know, opens them up, whatever. So that move, when you really think about it, is busted for a build like this. If you're in a build, like, this is what I was talking about earlier, when the builds come up, right? Builds for the fruit. If you're in a build where you spam fly, Firefly is trash, because you don't use M1s. In a build like this, look at my build. In a build like that, instead of having 45 into sword, 20 into Roku, 310 to defense, you put that all into stamina, maybe some of your Devil Fruit, right? Because you don't use M1s. You use stamina and Del for ability. Right. Which is what you pour into for this, right? So, that's what that build's for. So Firefly is trash, though. Firefly is trash. But, if you go for a build like mine, then it's one of your best options after M1s. Because then you Firefly them. They're in hit stun from that, and you peek-in them. You're hit stun from that. You get close to them, they can't dodge this. And it's 500 plus of their health. And most people run 800 HP builds, they're injured. And yo in the stock, right? So... And you also need a ton of health, because you need to land M1. It's like playing Rock Lee in ABA or something. Can't really do anything to land an M1, or they're dumb enough to not block this. Or they stand still and Firefly tracks them. There's not a really lot you can do unless, you know, you outmaneuver. I'd say this build takes a lot more skill than a lot of the fruit slash build in this game, period. Okay, and then the final ability is Entei. So Entei is your ultimate, which means you have to fill your ultimate bar. Probably like 4 full ability combos. And you should be good for this. This is a ability, let's read the description. The user launches a gigantic sphere of fire that implodes on impact, releasing waves of heat. It's semi-accurate. So we go here. Usually you wanna maybe not be flame flying with a build like that. So that's one of the things you can do with that ability, right? If you let go too early, it immediately goes off. You can't really do anything. Hard to hit, does no damage. So you always want to fully charge it up, like fully. So never use it if you're low stamina, right? You want to full charge this thing. So let's put it on the cooldown. Okay, so the cooldown's back. So, if you look at this, right? And about when it's here, it's fully charged, doesn't take any more stamina. This will eventually go off by itself, right? Aim wherever your cursor are. If you're in Coliseum and you're zoomed out to the barriers, it will go backwards and hit the barriers. So you gotta be careful about that. But then, you let go. That AoE's massive. They're not running from that. Unless it gets caught on a pole, and if you're smart, it won't. That AoE's massive. Probably goes out way further than the ball. It definitely does, actually. I know for a fact it hits 5 times. Does like 500 damage. And if you know how to use it, you'll never miss it. Never, ever. If you're not dog, then you'll never, ever miss it. Unless something happens inside of your control, essentially. And it has no cooldown. So for open PvP, if you want to go that route, and there's open PvP where ultimates are allowed off cooldown, then it's a little busted because I can already use it again. It has no cooldown at all. And if I do this, it gets bigger, and then it probably goes out about here with the AoE, right? So, lots of damage. Very good ultimate. Would rate it. Would use it. Would use this fruit because it's good. Now, let's get into the more overall review of the fruit after we've done every individual ability. So, if we go into the builds more in depth, right? It depends on how you want to play the game. Because I'm not gonna judge anyone who wants to play mindless, right? Because some people just want to do that in PvP. So that's where you go with the stamina DF build, where you don't put anything to sword. Don't even get Geppo, right? Geppo is useless when you can do this. So you don't even get like Geppo or fighting style, you just go full I do damage and you can't hit me, right? So the issue is that this drains stamina very, very fast. But if you have lots of it, doesn't really matter. When you can do this, guard break, and then doesn't have cooldowns. Firefly is never used when you're flying, because you don't have one, can't combo. But you know, you just spam DF at them, and it's pretty cancer. If you go into it more, you know, it doesn't really matter. Whatever your playstyle fits. If you like that, you like that. I don't. So I want the build where it's very M1 focused, except you don't do that much M1 damage, right? It's M1 focused, but the focus is hitting an M1 so you can hit your moves. Because without flight, your moves are semi-hard to hit and like easy to predict. If you know how to use the fruit well, you can pretty much always hit your abilities. If you know how to outmaneuver your opponent, get some hits, get some combos, you know, probably throw in some clips there. If you know how to do that, pretty good fruit. But what I will say is that is more fun to me, but to some people, they won't enjoy that, so use the other build, or maybe use a different fruit. I thought this would fit my playstyle, and it very much does. So, if you like fruits where you have decent mobility in open world, we'll get that in a second. Fruits that are very useful in open world, very good for grinding dungeons, everything. You'll get kill credit on things. That's good and all. This is overall well-rounded fruit though, because it's good for PvP and that. And for PvP, it's very interactive, which is perfect for me. And the ultimate's not hard to use, like some other ultimates I know. But yeah, so that fits my playstyle perfectly. And now let's get into the dark side of the fruit, which is Ace Boat Striker Game Pass. And you know, it's funny, to say the least, that you can spend, you know, that absurd price for a boat if you have a specific fruit. Magical fruit in a block game goes a little bit faster, maybe. But for real, in all seriousness, Game Pass 3,000 Robux. You get a boat, it goes 70 speed, which is the same as hoverboard. It's 15 less than coffin boat base. I think it looks pretty cool. And it goes 100 speed if you have Mera, which makes travel in open world obscenely fast. It's not light flight levels of fast, which is built into the fruit, but then again that drains your stamina, and you go one direction. The Ace Boat turns really fast. Striker, should I say. Turns really fast. So, honestly, if I'm gonna give my opinion on that boat, if you want it, you want it. I will say though, if you made it this far into the video, thank you, by the way. Not many people do. If this video gets 20 likes, or no, not 20. If this video gets 30 likes, I'll think of getting the boat and doing a review on that separately. I'll think about it, you know. So that's all, and I'm gonna let y'all think about it if you want Mera. And if you do, hit me up. Thank you, yeah. If you do hit me up, let me know your experience with the fruit. Let me know if I'm an idiot, doesn't know anything about Mera, or if you enjoyed it. Please like, sub, you know, comment. Trying to make videos, I guess. I don't know. I'm bored. Bye-bye.